Welcome to Mission Evolution Radio Show with Gwilda Wiyaka, bringing together today's leading experts to uncover ever-deepening spiritual truths and the latest scientific developments in support of the evolution of humankind. For more information on Mission Evolution Radio with Gwilda Wiyaka, visit www.missionevolution.org. And now, here's the host of Mission Evolution, Miss Gwilda Wiyaka.
In recent years, social media has become an influential force in our society. But what's being done with that influence? From being a platform to post pictures of one's latest pedicure to copious amounts of misinformation, the answer would appear to be nothing overly useful. Can social media evolve into something more profound? Mission Evolution Radio TV show is coming to you on the X Zone Broadcast Network and Simul TV. We're produced by Relmar McConnell Media Company with studios and corporate offices in St. Catharines, Ontario, Canada. With us this hour to explore the much-needed revolution of social media is Sue FENNESSY. Sue has built successful businesses across the world spanning entertainment, media, and communications. Her latest company, Standard Media Index, is used by the world's largest media and finance companies. Forbes has named her an innovator to watch. In 2020, Sue created We Are 8, the world's first B Corp certified social media ecosystem that gives 60% of its revenue back to the people, the planet, and charities. Her website, weare8.com. Sue, thank you so much for joining us on Mission Evolution.
Thank you, Gwilda. It's gorgeous to be here with you today.
Yes, it's really fun. It's quite a distance we're spanning. Where are you at? You're in...
So I'm in London.
I thought you were in London. Mm-hmm.
I sound like this. My children all have American accents. I was 14 years in New York, and I do miss the States. But, yeah, it's lovely to be here with you.
It's lovely to have you. So you created We Are 8. What is it?
So if you imagine that Instagram and TikTok had a love baby with a conscience that cared about people and the planet, that's what we've built. But the big difference is every time you watch an ad on 8, and it's your choice to press the little golden yellow button, every time you watch an ad on 8, you get valued, paid into your wallet, and money goes to charities and the planet. And you can then use that money to pay it forward to charities. So the whole concept is social that's truly social again. I mean, we look at social platforms and they're really dividing us. They thrive on the division rather than a platform that is built to the people's platform that's built to bring people together and unite us and celebrate what we have in common.
That is, it seems like everything's gotten so polarized, particularly social media, that you don't even want your kids on there,
I know. I mean, people are often saying they're not even seeing their friends. I mean, I think in the beginning, social media did a great job of connecting people. It's connected really brilliantly 2 billion people around the world. But unfortunately, most people are feeling more isolated and less truly connected than ever before. And I think this, without guardrails, people are feeling judged. It's fueling a lot of hateful content. There's no framework to eradicate the directed hate. And it's time really for an evolution of that. So what we've built, you can still dance on TikTok or tweet on X, but change the world on 8. So this is about really reconnecting again and feeling your unique value to change the world every day, because our whole mission is to make it fun and easy to make a real impact every day.
So you said that 60% of the revenue goes back into charities and that sort of thing. How much of that is wrapped up in the process of getting it there?
Yeah, so it's really interesting. I mean, I'm obsessed with the direct connection, because one of the things that shocked me when I built the data company SMI, we were tracking ad spend across the US and around the world, and you could literally see over a 14-year period, Facebook revenues all start from nothing until it was $120 billion a year. The year before last, in 22, $120 billion. And so you look at that and think, the crazy thing is the average engagement rate on a Facebook ad is under 0.04%. It's become like background wallpaper. So, you look at how much money's there, and we could literally see the implosion of really important society constructs like local news, local radio, local TV. And our obsession became, imagine a world where people are at the economic center, because a lot of the division that's happening is not just because there are no guardrails in social, it's because the framework, people are under economic pressure, right? More than ever before. I mean, there's 50 million people in the US that can't get enough food on the table every day, which is a staggering stat considering there's only 350 million people in the US. So our whole mission became, imagine if we could build a more effective ad unit for brands, but direct that money back into the pockets of the people. So imagine if just by watching 2 minutes of ads a day, and money dropping in tiny micro amounts, dropping into people's wallets, imagine that they can pay their mobile bills, pay their Spotify, their Netflix, and donate to charity. And what we're seeing is over 54% of people are donating their earnings to charity. And considering Feeding America can get someone a meal for 20 cents, so imagine 50 million people in the US watching 2 minutes of ads, earning 50 cents and paying that forward to Feeding America, or earning 20 cents, paying it forward to Feeding America. You've got 50 million people in 2 minutes a day getting another 50 million people food. So the whole concept is, so often we go through the day and we're just unconscious. We're not feeling connected. We're feeling judged. But if it's that little thing that is fun and easy and connects us, and today I got 2 meals on the table for someone in need.
For somebody else. So again, I ask how much of the 60% is wrapped up in making it happen on your end?
Oh, none. So the 40% covers all the cost. It's direct into someone's PayPal account. So if they just wanted to cash out their money, they could. Over 54, the full 60% goes back. So 50% of every ad dollar that comes through, the old world is Facebook keeps everything. Our world is 50 cents in every dollar goes straight through to people's wallets, 8 wallets, and they can cash out into PayPal or pay their Spotify or their mobile bill or whatever. 5% goes to charity, and 1% of that goes to climate projects, and another 5% goes to the creators and publishers. Because, one of the big things, I think most of the publishers and media companies are creating a lot of content for these social platforms and not creating sustainable revenues. Everyone, we the people and creators and everyone are really the largest unpaid workforce in human history. We're just plowing a lot of money into the pockets of the tech platforms. But everything we're seeing, the economic flow is just the beginning, because when we see that and our whole initial mission is to get just 1% of the human population. So
yeah, I wanted to ask you, why 1%?
So it coincidentally, we hit 8 billion people on our planet, and the 8 is the infinite power of collective action. We're the only species that doesn't work as a collective, and technology's divided us. So as a human species with 8 billion humans, I'm a big believer scientifically that the only way we're going to be able to address the big problems in the world is through tiny collective action. So 80 million people, just 1% of that, of the world's population, watching ads for just 2 minutes a day on We Are 8 means that collectively, we the people on the People's Platform will be giving more back to charities, the planet, and people than the Gates Foundation in a year. So it's the collective action. If you think of a world of AI where, you know, we're going to need to work together as a collective to get information out. I mean, I know the WHO has created this thing around getting health information out in a more effective way because of the misinformation and everything else. People don't know what's real and what's fake. And
So speaking to that,
yeah.
when you're going on the social medias that are out there, whose name I won't mention, very often you'll see an ad. It'll look like a great deal. You'll order it, and you'll get some spam from China that is probably from Amazon that was sent back, that's broken, that's sent to China to then be or not even sent to China. And they free returns, right? But that means you have to pay for the shipping to China, even
Yeah.
though it was distributed out of the US. Now that's
Yeah.
pretty scammy. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
So how do your ads differ from that?
Yeah, I think we have a whole verification infrastructure on both sides. So on one side, every person on 8 is real. So it eradicates all the bots. And actually, because you can't be anonymous, it cuts out about 90% of the hate on that side. On the other side, the brands, so we don't take oil company advertising, but everything else is verified through our system. So we've got our buying engine where advertisers can set up and run campaigns like Facebook Ad Manager, but everything goes through a filtering system. So we make sure that they're verified brands. And
Okay.
it's actually putting real protections around that because it is a free-for-all at the minute.
It certainly is. It's a mess. And Sue, we're going to have to take a station break, but Sue and I will return very shortly. So don't you go away. This is Mission Evolution, www.missionevolution.org. Is social media impacting us more than we know? With us this hour discussing the current situation with social media platforms is Sue FENNESSY. Her website, weare8.com. So Sue, I propose the question to you. What's your take on the impact currently that social media is having on us as a people?
It's a great question, Gwilda. I mean, I think it's evidenced in it's fueling the economic crisis, it's fueling hate, it's fueling division, it's fueling climate misinformation. We're in a mental health epidemic, and it's all being fueled by the structure of social media. The fact that they are actually fueling hate. It's interesting. One of the former Premier League footballers, Rio Ferdinand, did a big documentary about the crisis in football and hate, and it was all fueled. What he discovered was that because they want to keep people scrolling. Hate keeps people engaged. But what I know, which is just not putting humanity in a good place. I mean, we're seeing suicide rates. I mean, it was, we know these platforms knowingly fuel teen suicide, and that's not on our watch. So what we see and what we've tested and built, I work together with a team of behavioral scientists, 12 behavioral scientists. And what we became obsessed with is, can the serotonin and the positive chemicals in the brain be released with positive engagement? And what we found was, yes, they can. And it's not just the joy of little things, it's actually the joy of other people celebrating you and then doing those actions with you. And as humans, we're meant to live as a community. And social media has broken down a lot of the constructs of our communities. And we're more isolated, we're more divided and lonelier than ever before.
I've noticed that most social medias have this group and that group and the next group, and people build their groups, and then people that are interested in that topic join the group. Okay, but
Yeah,
isn't that further isolating us? In other words, they're joining a group, but they only hear what they want to hear within that group.
absolutely. I mean, look, I think part of it is it's good to have a group and a framework, but without limitations on or eradicating hate, because we've integrated the Amazon recognition technology and built an AI layer that means if there's any directed hate or hateful language at an individual or groups of individuals, you're off, actually. You get a warning and then you're off. And I think there have to be guardrails so that we know, it's sort of sad, isn't it, that we have to be reminded how we need to treat each other. So I think the groups are good, but there's no more elevated group. There's no more, most people want to be part of something bigger than ourselves. I mean, even seeing your beautiful intro visuals, we know we're all connected. I mean, if we think for a second, there was a big bang moment in the universe, we're all just connected from that. And yet this current technology that's only 14 years old, I mean, it's so new. It's still got its baby pants on, Gwilda, really.
And it's acting like it. We're seeing lots of accidents.
Right.
So you talking about the percentage of hate and that, where are you getting the figures from?
Yes. So, and it was interesting. I mean, when Elon Musk bought Twitter, there was all the discussion around the percentage of the platform that are bots. And it's pretty industry standard. I mean, one of the big ad industry studies came out recently with a study saying 30% of all digital traffic was fraudulent. And I think it's so easy for people now to mirror accounts. I mean, the web is it's the Wild West still. There's no real identification of a real human.
And that's what's so terrifying, is because
Right.
AI is getting very powerful. And, there's going to be a time of singularity within 4 months or within, 10 years, who knows? But if
Yeah.
it's that big of a mess now and singularity hits, what's that going to look like?
Yeah, and that's exactly why we need identification, real identified human beings and a safe home. So, and that's part of what we're building it's this whole idea of freedom in a home base that values us, values our identity and values our information. Because at the moment, the data underneath, one of the things about building a data company with SMI is what became shocking to me is, as individuals, how much we're bought and sold. I mean, that ship has sailed. It's by everyone, banks, retailers, everyone is sort of using our data. But what we discovered is if you give people control of their data, most people aren't. There's only about 8% of the population that is deeply, deeply worried about that. And the more interesting thing is, when we think of ourselves as data points, it reduces us to our smallest common denominator. So we wanted to give people control of their data, control of how it's used, control of their real identity within a framework that elevates them to feel really amazing and powerful and impactful every day, and part of a collective that's making real impact.
Well, within and all of social medias, but particularly I notice it with Facebook. As an individual, I can be sharing with different groups something that's profound. It's not foul. It's not, none of those nasty things, and they'll shut me down.
I know.
And I go, and then the next thing you know, there's something quite obscene and very fraudulent sitting right next to where you got shut down. So
Yeah.
how do you control it so that the AI isn't just arbitrarily doing things and not doing what it should do?
Yeah. Do you know what, Gwilda, you're absolutely right. And we hear this a lot. It's shocking to me how their rules work, because also there's no transparency around those rules. I don't know if you've tried to follow up, but
Oh,
most no one gives any reasons for anything. It's just a voiceless thing saying you're shut down.
and yet with the size of influence that they have, and then it being arbitrary, what's going on behind the scenes and how is it impacting us as individuals?
Absolutely. So the way that we've built the AI layer that serves humanity and the recognition technology that serves humanity, it's actually a much clearer line than you think on what information should be out there and what shouldn't, even verified. It's interesting how often we hear so many of the publishers and news broadcasters and others tell us their information gets shut down, even though, you see such extreme things that shouldn't be out there. So it's actually having that recognition technology, having a layer of what is okay and what is not okay. We verify all our creators and verified accounts with a Golden 8 halo. So it's actually it goes through a verification process. And this is about eradicating harmful misinformation.
And
I think we all
do you
want
have
that.
one of the, again, big frustrations is how do you get in there and say, but wait, I wasn't doing anything wrong? Do you have provision for people to be treated like people rather than just shut down by AI with no recourse?
That's our whole thing. We call ourselves the people's platform. We exist for the people, and it's actually the voice of the people. I mean, I see a world where with 80 million people, we can put out to the community, this is what we're thinking on upcoming content, because each day we have the top 8 and where we're wanting to unite people. It's very science driven. I mean, you look at what a lot of leading scientists are saying, and often their information gets shut down. Health professionals. I mean, it's insane to me. So we want to elevate the voice of the people, and it actually creates the framework for a true democracy. I mean, if you think about it, because the social platforms are literally controlled by a couple of people, it's not a true democracy, and the voice of the people isn't that. It's a total black box. People aren't. There's no visible, transparent guidelines on this is what we'll take, this is what's not okay. Whereas on 8, we're clear. This is what's not okay. This is what is okay, and what's.
But does a person have to read a tome to figure out what that is?
No, see, that's purposeful too.
Mhm.
I think the simpler, and at the end of the day, even when we built the recognition tech, it's directed hate is actually slander as a legal thing. And because it's everywhere, they couldn't shut it down, actually, because then everything would be off the platform. But there's a framework that there's language, directed language, that is okay to say that doesn't happen on 8. And it's this, we almost as humanity have to relearn. I mean, I really believe most people are good. We want a good world. We want a healthy world. We want to be able to access information, and we don't want extreme, violent, pornography. I mean, you think about the things that can be accessed, and it's just not okay. And I really imagine a world where your verification on 8 could be a gateway into what we're saying is Web 8.0, where you mirror the web and you recreate a framework that is a true democracy. Because I think, founders of the internet, Tim Berners-Lee and the others are horrified at the darkness and hate that is perpetuated on the internet and how controlled it's become.
Well, it's that magic moment again. Sue and I are going to have to take another station break, and we will be right back to continue our discussion. Stay right there. This is Mission Evolution, www.missionevolution.org. This is Mission Evolution, missionevolution.org. With us discussing the shadow side of social media is the creator of We Are 8, Sue FENNESSY. Sue, how, we figure that people's beliefs and whatnot create our reality to a certain extent. How much impact is being exposed to the hate, the polarization, the false advertising, false information that's running rampant out there on social media? How is that affecting us as a people, and how is that affecting our reality, and who's really running the show?
The platforms are really running the show. I think we're living in a world, Gwilda, where the platforms are controlling what we see, when we see it, what we believe. Those algorithms feed us literally through the feeds a stream of content that they control.
And there's too much power there for there not to be some purposeful controlling based on money, I would expect.
Yeah, I mean, the more that people are unconscious and just scrolling and have their heads down, the more money they make. Because the way their ad model works is they just push ads into the feed. And the more unconscious we are, then we click, buy, purchase. And it's really coming into this consciousness, this waking up time. This is why I feel so optimistic about 2024, actually. I mean, we're coming into an election year in the US, the UK, India, the biggest markets in the world. And yet we're down in the weeds. Everyone's arguing about this stuff. Whereas if we elevate the conversation and recognize what we have in common as people, then that elevates everything, particularly when you're feeling valued every day, watching a couple of ads, money going into your wallet. But it takes me up to a level where I'm actually feeling more valued and purposeful. I mean, if we look at the big problems in the world, 800 million people can't get access to fresh water around the world. 50 million people access to food in the US. I mean, we're 2 billion people on the planet are living almost on the poverty line, and yet we have enough resources. So our technology is really, it's almost more than a social platform. It's the place where we connect with ourselves, our higher purpose, and we make it fun and easy to change the world. Because even if I can do that for a couple of minutes, it makes me conscious. It makes me reconnect with and feel hopeful about the ability for us to solve these big problems together, because I'm convinced we're only going to solve them through tiny collective actions and incremental money from big corporates, putting money back into charities and people's pockets.
Well, the thing that seems to interest people what is it my producer says, if it doesn't bleed, it doesn't lead. Okay. And this has been the truth for a long time. So how are you finding you're faring when you're trying to do something altruistic, when other people are really, a huge majority of people are drawn to seeing what the latest drama is?
Yeah. So we don't want to combat that. I mean, what we realized really early is the chemicals that releases in the brain are so strong that we're not going to be able to combat that. We need to have a proposition that is a respite from that brings something else. And what we've found is the behavioral drivers are really threefold. One is, as people sort of wake up to their own power, one is little money drops and building trust. Oh, so you're getting money in my wallet and helping me pay my mobile bill and making it really easy for me to do good and get a meal to someone in need or help someone get fresh water or give positivity, those are really powerful drivers. And then other people celebrating them are hugely powerful drivers. So we can't combat that, but we can be a safe place to make positive impact. And what we're seeing is the more time people are spending there, we're releasing something called Conversations, which is our Twitter meets Facebook groups in April. And when we were testing that, we realized that people actually want their voices heard and be part of the bigger conversations. It's different conversations, different impact, and a different place. We'll see the same people, on Twitter wound up in the negative over here, but coming to 8 for a positive experience. And the other thing we realized, actually, this idea of the golden 8 ad unit. I'm watching an ad that is getting money to charity, changing the world and valuing me. We're now plugging that into publishers all around the world so we can run those ad units out on our publisher partners and share more money with them. So the whole idea is that if I watch an ad on bbc.com or The Zone or wherever, money drops in my 8 wallet and money is shared with you. So it's making it ubiquitous everywhere.
It seems like one of the major complaints and concerns of a lot of well-meaning people is, what can I do? It's so big, it's so corrupt. What impact can I have?
It's
So
funny. I did a post, what can I do? I'm just one person, said 8 billion people. And that there has never been a place where it's been fun or easy. And I think I often wonder why because I'm really a scientist and engineer by default, and I often wonder why I was dropped into media and advertising as an ecosystem to understand. But when we look at the money that is going to Google, Facebook, the big platforms, though that money just to Facebook alone within 2 years, Facebook's revenue could end the water crisis globally. So for us, it's the only place in the global economy that I could see incremental money that, if it was funneled in the right way back to people, charities and planet, it was incremental money back to solve those big problems. So the reality is there's never been tech that actually makes it fun and easy for people. And there's never been a funnel of incremental money to fuel that, because, we need money to solve problems and we need collective action. And that's what we bring together.
well, you created the Standard Media Index. What is that?
So we built technology. I built technology inside the biggest media agencies in the world. So the media agencies that buy on behalf of Coca-Cola and McDonald's and the biggest brands spend about $400 billion a year on ad distribution. And we built data infrastructure so we could see where all that money was going. It was like turning the lights on in an industry, and then it was used by Disney and Warner and all the media companies to trade efficiently. It was my whole belief is you couldn't have an effective and efficient market unless there was transparency. My whole thing is really about bringing truth and light and making things more transparent. And so
If I were to follow, it looks like the root of the problem, the root of all evil, is our preoccupation and attachment to money versus fairness and altruism.
Yeah, I mean, I think you're absolutely right, Gwilda. I mean, greed, if you look at the human attachment to greed And look, this is why I look at the platforms and I just think, God, how much is enough? And yet, it's serving the 1%, the 0.1% actually, and yet there are enough resources in the world for everyone. Life is short. And, we just need to be in the sandpit and share together. The funny thing is, when we share, everything becomes more abundant, right? Because when advertisers pay Facebook, they keep it and buy whatever. When advertisers pay us and we share with charities put a meal on someone's table. That gives them dignity. They're having a better day. Then they give to someone. We give to creators. We give to people. They pay it forward to charities. So it has this beautiful butterfly ripple effect. Money is energy, actually. And energy, people have been wanting to control the energy, control the knowledge, control the information. And that's when the world gets majorly sideways. And it only takes a 1% shift. I believe it will only take an 80 million person shift to be dramatic.
Well, that's what we're about in this time, isn't it? Is finding a different way, and enough of us wanting to find a different way. Now, your platform, you're using money to instigate people or to motivate people by dropping money into their account. How does that differ, really? It's still focused on money, isn't it?
Yeah, it's been an interesting debate that we've had internally, and it's money is required to solve big problems. However, when you give people the choice, this is why it's fascinating. I mean, people need to pay their bills. They need to get food on the table. They need to do things. And there's a lot of people that can't. So if you want to use those tiny micro payments and help pay off your mobile bill, then all power to you. Because I would rather that money go to 80 million people than Zuckerberg, transparently. Because it's redistribution of that wealth. But what we're seeing is 54% of people are paying it forward to charity.
That's an amazing figure. So
Right?
you're able to track this with the AI.
You're right, absolutely, and with all the data that it's showing. But it's really not about the money. The money is the starting point of helping wake people up to, oh my God, I can make huge impact by watching an ad with tiny actions. And it's that awakening. Sadly, money wakes people up.
It does. It's time for us to take another station break, but please stay with us. Sue and I will continue to explore revolutionizing social media. This is Mission Evolution, www.missionevolution.org. Is there any hope of transforming social media into a positive social service? This is Mission Evolution, missionevolution.org. We're continuing our discussion with Sue FENNESSY. Her website, weare8.com. Sue, you recently signed the Inspired Internet Pledge. What is that?
It's really every company committed to a healthy internet, an internet that has zero tolerance of hate and is healthy for our communities. But the reality, I mean, we're really committed to that, but I think that's just the beginning. I heard a colleague of mine today use the term, it's time for radical collaboration. We need to, as businesses, as talent, as communities, as publishers, as networks, all come together. It's about, this is what we've really built, a framework where all are thriving. Everyone is thriving and everyone's committed to a healthier world. And unfortunately, the social platforms are not there.
Yeah, it's scary that AI is advancing much faster than our platforms are, and then what does AI have to work with but this faulty, soiled, dysfunctional expression of human nature.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, I'm an optimist, Gwilda. So, and look, I've spent the last 7 years building technology to thrive and to bring humanity together in a world that's powered by AI, actually, where everyone is verified, where every human is verified, and where we can come together really quickly because we're going to need to. I mean, we
mhm.
look at the things that we're going to be facing. I look at it, COVID, any of these things, getting information out quickly and bringing us together really quickly is critical. And there's no framework. I believe Facebook and these platforms should have done that for free. They should have been sending out a push notification to 2 billion people quickly with the information, and instead it was misinformation.
Oh boy,
And
did that ever create a mess.
right,
And everybody's arguing over, is this true? Is that true? Are they doing this? Is
yeah,
this a conspiracy? And nobody's figuring out a cure. Meanwhile, people are dropping like flies.
right.
It was
Well,
an example of what can happen if we are not careful here.
yeah, and I think it has the potential to get a lot worse. I mean, they took money from a lot of governments and health organizations in advertising to people when actually it should have been a moment for technology to put information out as a social service. There's a point at which the platforms should be a healthy society construct.
Well, speaking of which, with the current mental health crisis, economic crisis, climate crisis, etc., where do you see we are at in the equation?
Uniting people to address all those things. So from a mental health perspective, and a lot of data supports this, but if you're able to not feel alone, like they appointed a loneliness minister in the UK. I mean, we're living in a world where a lot of people are living by themselves now, more so than ever, but everyone's isolated and feeling judged. So it's almost the idea that we've got you. We've got you, Gwilda. You know, we've got you and we're here for you. We were actually talking about the whole idea of a need help button with a stream of mental health support on the app, because I think there's a lot of people, there's no safe home for us, for anyone, actually. There's no safe home base digitally. I mean, I think we're so used to just being out there getting judged. There's no safe home base. So we want to be home base. So on a mental health perspective, we're committed to zero hate, but actually we've got you. That's one thing. The economic crisis, look, our goal is to get $1 into your wallet every day, because there was a stat in the US, this is before COVID, 40% of all Americans couldn't find $400 in an emergency. That was a Federal Reserve statistic. You probably know better than me. 5 years ago. And that really woke me up. And that was when I thought, imagine when we can get $400 into people's wallets every year just by watching 2 to 3 minutes of ads. In 2 to 3 minutes a day, you can get that money back into your wallet and we can eradicate that stat. So it's almost a mindset thing of just feeling valuable again. Being in a community that values you, it shifts everything. It shifts this 1 degree, right?
Well, we're have come to a point that the internet and social media and that sort of thing is our company. Okay,
Mm,
are keeping us from being totally isolated.
mm,
Our jobs, everything has gotten to the point that
mm.
we live. If we're not looking through this window, we're totally isolated.
Yeah.
So that means that that window has an amazing impact on us, even when we don't know it, or particularly when we're
Yeah.
just scrolling and don't know it. Things are coming in subliminally.
Yeah.
Okay. How do you manage that so that you're not getting that even through the advertisements that you're taking on?
Mm. I think there's a lot of good in it too. So you're right. It's giving us our window to the world, but we never feel safe. So our whole framework is built, keep doing that, but then create your profile here, start making positive impact every day. And then as we grow, your window to the world will become bigger. It'll be like a gentle awakening actually of our value until we're spending more time with people with shared values. And that's a lot of us actually, because ultimately it doesn't matter. We don't care about, what you believe, the color of your skin, who you kiss. This is about a higher belief of what we have in common and wanting to bring good in the world. And we often use the term the We Are Eight family, this whole idea of we've got each other. And if we can create that safe home, this can be my window to the world, but we know deep in our gut something's off. We know we're going to be hit from left field with a judgment or some hate, or, we're constantly on eggshells. We just want you to feel yourself. We want you to feel your biggest, most amazing self every day, and that's okay. So if you can start to do that, that's what 8 is really about.
Well, Sue, it's that time in the program when I get to ask you, what is your mission?
To inspire, empower, and enable 1 billion people on the planet to come together every single day and solve the world's biggest problems. I feel like I was just here to build the tech so that people could have a safe home, feel loved, and feel part of something much bigger.
And it's a beautiful mission, because what we have right now is the internet was just kind of grew like a malignant tumor. There was no real direction or anything else, and now we have a malignant tumor out there. How long do you think it's going to take to correct that before we can correct the world?
Yeah, so I've been really impatient about this getting to the 80 million number until I realized that what if we didn't just have this ad unit on 8? What if we shared that with all the biggest media companies and publishers and shared the money with them in a healthy ecosystem? And so we've now done a lot of pipe plugins to the biggest media networks. So from March, people will be able to watch an ad on CNN and other networks and get paid back into their 8 wallet. So I'm confident we're going to get to that 80 million number by August. And it's only by plugging in those pipes. So advertisers can reach not just the 1.6 million people on 8 today, but the 300 million people across our network in the key markets that we're operating in. So I'm optimistic about getting there fast. We have to.
Yeah, we're running out of time rapidly. So, do you screen the ads and the content before
Yeah.
accepting them into your platform?
Yeah, absolutely. Everything is screened. The brand, the advertiser, what the ad is about. I mean, I think there's a lot of ads for, and this is without judgment, but for plastic surgery and other things that are being served to young kids. I mean, what we all see is pretty scary, actually.
Well, the
And,
values that it puts out there, yeah, it
right?
keeps and that brings up the suicide rate, doesn't it? Is
Yeah, totally.
being you're not good enough like you are. You're going to have this lifted and that clipped and that.
No,
Uh,
no, no one's feeling good enough. And guess what? Everyone is. Everyone is perfect, just the way you are. And we just need to be reminded of that and need a home that accepts us as we are.
Beautiful. So, um, how can digital marketing save the planet? You've been talking about this, but how can it save the planet?
Weirdly enough, Gwilda, it's the money that brands spend. It's the $450 billion, $400 billion that they spend on marketing. When they funnel that through 8 and it's shared with our media partners, our publishers, people, charities, planet, we can actually solve the world's biggest problems. So the weird thing is, this huge pot of money that they have can actually be funneled back to the most important things in the world, people in the world. And brands do care. They want to create a path to sustainability. And the thing is, our ad delivers better results and our partners deliver better results. So it's making it easy for them to
That's
give
great.
their money to the right places.
Well, Sue, it's all about getting money to the right places, apparently. Unfortunately, we are out of time. Thank you so much for coming on the show. I know you're busy. Thanks for giving us your time.
Thank you for giving me your time.
Our guest this hour has been Sue FENNESSY, the creator of We Are 8, the world's first B Corp certified social media ecosystem that gives 60% of its revenue back to the people, the planet, and charities. To find out more about Sue and all she has to offer, visit her website, weare8.com. This has been Mission Evolution with Gwilda Wiyaka. For more information or to enjoy past archived episodes, visit www.missionevolution.org. But most importantly, please be sure to join us right here next time as this mission continues, bringing information, resources, and support to our rapidly evolving world.